whenever I went away, if I came back to Coventry, he always was in some band and he always made me be in it with him. And he was very whiny and persuasive. So I wound up playing in all sorts of awful things. And one of them I played in was a rock and roll band, a genuine rock and roll band, fronted by a bloke called Ricky Nugent. My friend was convinced that Ricky was going to make it. And Ricky was even more convinced that he had already made it, despite the fact that our gigs were in working men's clubs and quite scary little clubs around the country. And I didn't have the appropriate rock and roll gear. And they were playing some pretty hardcore, I guess, teddy boy type venues. And one time we played at a place called Cleopatra's in Derby, a place so feared that it has its own Facebook page called something like Survivors. Cleopatra's. Now who remembers in those old days when you could smoke everywhere? Everywhere had these enormous heavy glass ashtrays. Do you remember them? You haven't lived till you've seen one fly past your nose, thrown by audience members at the band because they're not wearing the appropriate clothes. I managed to avoid. The bass player was less lucky. I think one of them got him on the temple and he went down. The drummer was suitably poleaxed too. And we were escorted off the premises by the owner with his pair of extremely friendly Alsatians into a van down the M1 back to Coventry on a freezing cold night with van doors that didn't close. My friend has always liked this memory. He always likes me to tell this story. And I can tell you that after we did all this, he went on to form a band. And he did indeed get somewhere. And his name was Jeremy Dennis. And he formed the Specials, which I wasn't in. Ricky had a rock and roll band, singer at the microphone stand. Loser, you might say, but he sure didn't see it that way. Ricky was a singer, had a band. Ricky was a frontman in command. Wanted to be Elvis or maybe Chuck. All he needed was a slab of luck. Said he'd been a miner down in the hole. Said he got injured digging coal. Might have been true, it was hard to tell. Might have been a story he wanted to sell. Oh, Ricky had a rock and roll band, singer at the microphone stand. Yeah, loser, you might say, but he sure didn't see it that way. Ricky played places that were mean and rough. Sometimes people were thrown and stuff, but he had no doubt, he didn't care. Thought it was Vegas, not the back of nowhere. Flashing lights and plastic seats, that was his world, that was his beat. Then back in the car with his right hand man, rest of the band in a broke down van. Oh, Ricky had a rock and roll band, singer at the microphone stand. Yeah, loser, you might say, but he sure didn't see it that way. show, he drove him wild. Even thought he could cure a sick child. Got him on stage, went down on one knee, said, son, this music'll set you free. He had all the gear, he looked the part. In the twilight world, he was a star. Did he lose or did he win? I wonder what became of him. Oh, Ricky had a rock and roll band, singer at the microphone stand. Yeah, loser, you might say, but he sure didn't see it that way. Rock and roll band, singer at the microphone stand. Yeah, loser, you might say, but he sure didn't see it that way. He sure didn't see it that way. No, he sure didn't see it that way.